This will be my last video on the recondition of this swamp cooler, reconditioning of this swamp cooler. This was the last item I had to do. It's called the Universal Water Distributor Kit. A lot of people call this the spider assembly. It puts the water down on the cooling pads. It sits on top of the swamp cooler. So like I said, I reconditioned this whole old swamp cooler, and this is the last video that completes the job. It works very well now, but we had to replace just about all the parts, and you can check out my other videos. Now, what was wrong with this spider assembly up on top, or the Universal Water Distributor? We'll call it the spider assembly from here on out. If you look up there, each spider, it only has one tube. Now that one whole tube there is going to a whole one water pad. So there's not really enough water coming out of that one tube to soak the water pad. And one of these was actually clogged up. It had so much dirt in it. So this was a twofold problem. Normally you're not going to have to replace these. So, but I got this one was in pretty bad shape. So as you can see, it only has one tube going to each pad. I'm going to change it. I'm going to put two tubes to each pad, and we hope that we're going to have a lot more water coming to each pad. And of course, the more water you have on the pads, the cooler the air flow coming out of the unit. So again, this is going to be the last video. Here's the parts you're going to need. Of course, you're going to need the Universal Water Distributor Kit. They cost about $15 at your hardware stores. Anywhere from $10 to $15 you're going to pay for this spider kit. Now it has everything. It has the manifold here. This is the manifold that all the tubes are going to go into. And it also, if you notice, the manifold only has 8 holes. And we're only going to be using 6. So these little plugs here plug up the 2 extra holes. So again, we have 6 tubes we're going to be using, and the center manifold set has 8 holes. So we're going to plug those up, and these all come with the kit. This little screw holds it to the top of the swamp cooler unit, this little hole, this little screw here. You're going to need a screwdriver to undo. This is the top of the unit, and you're going to need a screwdriver to undo that. Yes, so the first thing we're going to do is take out the old assembly. So you unscrew this part here. That's a Phillips head screw, and that's going to take out the old manifold there on the top. It's just plastic. It's just simple. It fits in there very easy. And of course, this is going to be another screwdriver to take off the hose. This is the hose that goes down to the pump. And so just a little clamp. So you undo that. That's going to hook on. We're going to save that part. That's going to hook on to the new manifold. So that's the pump. And all that is a tube that comes up from the pump. And that's going to go on to the new manifold set that we're going to put on later. So this is, like I said, you're probably not going to be doing this job. This is your your unit's going to have to be pretty clogged up to do this, or like you're going to have to get an old unit like mine. It doesn't have enough water flow to the pads, and you want more water flow to the pads. So if you do, this is a good job for you if you want more water flow to the pads. Of course, here's the new parts I'm showing you that hook on to the old hose. Now, like I say, that part there will hook onto the hose. Now we want to connect this part here, we want to connect to the manifold first, because it's easy. While we got it out, it's not going to be easy to connect these if you screw the manifold up to the top of the unit. So we do this part first. If you want to put Teflon tape on the screws there, it's okay. But I tightened it down all the way and did not have any leaks, so I'm not really sure you need Teflon tape on that part. And so here's the 6. Also, yeah, we're going to tighten that down. Tighten that down to the. So the first part we're going to be doing after you've taken the old manifold and the old spider assembly out, all we're going to do is tighten this part here as I'm showing you. Then we're going to screw this to the top of the swamp cooler. Very simple. And I guess and then before you screw it to the top of the swamp cooler, you can put the hose on there. That'll make it easier for you. If you do all this part before you screw it to the top of the swamp cooler, it's just easier for you to get to. So now this is all put together. If you see how I did this, it's all simple. Just two things to do there. And then once you get these together, then you can screw it to the top. But again, I guess, but before we do that, we also have to put the plugs in. Remember, we're going to be using six hoses. Two hoses, two pipes to each. 2 pipes going to each pad. As you can see, the old one only had 1 pipe going to each pad, and that's why we're getting rid of this old thing. So, like I said, the manifold set has 8 holes. So now we're going to put, we have 6 pipes, and that gives us 2 extra holes. So we're going to use the, here in a little bit, we're going to use the plugs. We're going to glue the plugs in before we screw that up there. So that's what I'm just showing you right now. This is how it's going to fit up there. Now remember, the 2 plugs, you're going to want them to go to the side of the swamp cooler that does not have any pads. You know, it's common sense. If you're looking to the left, okay, so here's the plugs. Now the plugs are going to go in to 2 of these. Now do you see that side there? That's the side that doesn't have any pads on it. So that's where you want the 2 plugs pointing towards that side, because this swamp cooler only has 3 pads. If this swamp cooler had pads all around it, you wouldn't have to plug it. But anyhow, we're gonna we're gonna plug it because it has to be plugged on the side where there's no pads. Now this kit comes with some glue. They say to put the glue on there real quickly and put it in there quickly. It's a fast setting glue. So as you can see, I pushed them in there, I glued them, pushed those, the plugs are in 2 holes. So now that we got the plugs in, we can go ahead and screw this to the top of the swamp cooler. We can screw the whole assembly up to the top of the swamp cooler. This job is really not that difficult. It's a little tedious, a little time consuming, and this video is a little longer than it probably should be. But you can do this. It's a very easy do-it-yourself job. Now we're showing you that these universal pipes are longer than you need them, so we're going to have to cut them. So you have to get your tape measure out and do a little marking and make sure you cut them in the right spot. And that's what we're going to do. I'm going to go ahead and cut all 6 of these. You see how that one's already been cut? Now you can cut these with a hacksaw, you can cut them with just about anything. They're plastic. I got this little wire cutter which snapped through it real easily, but then it kind of bends the pipe a little bit. So you have to take some pliers and gently squeeze the pipe back to being round, as I show you here. See how the pipe is a little oval there? All you do, if you take your little pliers and gently squeeze it to make it round again. See how it's not round? So all you do is gently take your pliers and boom, it's round again. And that'll make it easier to push into the manifold assembly. So this is very simple. You can use a hacksaw or any type of plastic cutter, and these are easy to cut. As I said, they're plastic. Once you get them all cut to the right size, then we're going to use like the glue that I told. Remember, the glue came with the kit? Pretty much everything you need is going to be in the kit except for your screwdrivers and your basic your Phillips screwdriver, your flathead, and you may need a little wrench to tighten down. Yeah, you need a crescent wrench. Okay, as you can see, I've glued these in already and pushed them in. And now, as you can see, I got 2 pipes going to each water pad. See there? 2 pipes going to that pad, 2 pipes going there, 2 pipes going there. Now this is going to give me a whole lot more water flow over my pads. And all I did was hook this. This is the pump hose from the pump. All you do is that's all we showed you earlier how that was hooked up to the manifold set. And this is very simple. I think it turned out very well. As you can see, it's going to give us a whole lot more water pressure, as you can see here. This is the kind of water pressure you need. This is the kind of water flow you need over your pads. And this is the pad, and you're going to get these pads a lot more wet. The air is going to be a lot more colder. Success, we have it. success it is. And if you want more water flow coming over your water pads, remember, you can do this. You can do this. So check out your old swamp cooler. If it only has one pipe going to each pad, like mine was, that's not very efficient. Go ahead and change it. Get yourself 2 pipes going to each water pad like I did here. Good luck. This thing works pretty good now. Thank you for watching.